Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. My name is Jessica Hitt. On today's episode, we're talking Avengers again, but we're talking spoilers. This is a huge spoiler alert for anybody who has not seen the movie. Also, this will be in the title, so it's your own damn fault if you clicked on this, and it's nothing to do with me and me spoiling it for you. That is you. So we're just gonna start with the biggest spoiler of them all, and that is that half of the universe has been snapped out of existence. So that happened. The first person to be kind of dusted away is what I'll call it, dusting, would be, of course, Bucky Barnes, who just cannot catch a break. He really can't. And you just hear him go, Steve, and then he turns to dust, and you're just like, wait a second, why did that just happen? No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And then you see Black Panther get dusted away, and you're just like, okay. They just killed off Black Panther, which, of course, at that moment, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, all of these people are coming back. Like, this has got to be the safe people, right? And then more and more people go. All of the Guardians, except for Rocket, are dusted away. And then the real heartbreaker is the only time that I cried in this movie, and that is, of course, when Peter Parker, Spider-Man, sort of used his spidey senses to feel that it was coming and try to put it off because his took a lot longer than the rest of the half of the universe that has just been killed by Thanos. And him just like gripping on to Tony Stark and just being a kid in that moment, because he's a teenager. He is a high school kid who is a superhero. He's not like an adult who's putting down his life for all of this stuff. Like, he is desperate in this moment, calling out to Tony, and Tony looks at this kid as his son, basically. This is exactly what he would ever want to have in a son. And whew, did I cry both times when I saw this movie. I mean, the only good thing that we know is that, of course, Black Panther's getting a sequel. We know Spider-Man 2 is going to be coming out after Avengers 4. It's the next movie on the slate after that. And a lot of those people that have been dusted away, you have the Guardians, you have Doctor Strange, all these people that have a lot more movies in them, and we're left with sort of the original crew. You're left with the Black Widow, Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, the Hulk, Bruce Banner in this one. The Hulk does not make an appearance. And then also Thor. We don't see Hawkeye in this movie. I'm assuming he's left. We do have a Rocket. We've got Don Cheadle in this. We still have Okoye from Black Panther. And then we also still have Nebula. That is who we know of. We're assuming Hawkeye is still out there. If this is going to be sort of an ode to the first of the Avengers, then he's going to be in there. And then also something to do with Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm assuming Ant-Man and the Wasp will both be in the next Avengers movie. That is the next movie to take flight. It's in 3 months. Got our first teaser of it. I think we can all assume that this is either taking place right before the events of Avengers Infinity War or during the events. I'm putting my money down that one of the last scenes in the actual movie is going to be the same news report that Scarlet Witch and Vision are watching before they get attacked, and then the end credit scene is going to be like Paul Rudd's Ant-Man with his kid, and his kid gets like dusted away or something like that. That's just what I'm predicting. But let's also talk about the other real deaths in this. There are 4 real deaths that are like physical deaths, and then we've got all of the dusted away type of people. The first of which is Heimdall in the first 10 minutes. Both Heimdall and Loki just, whew, I'll tell you what, Loki's was pretty brutal. I mean, he basically just got like strangled to death very fast. And I'll tell you what, like, I was expecting it. I knew Loki was going to die in this movie. Like, out of anybody, he was like a 100% for me. A little surprised with Heimdall just because he never really got much to do in the Thor movies, I feel like. He was like that cool character that you were happy he was there all the time, but like just didn't have much to do, which is most of the characters in Thor besides Thor and Loki. And I'll tell you what, when Loki died, a girl a couple rows in front of me in that Thursday preview night just started bawling. She was like so upset. I'm just like, dude, come on. You got to read up on things before you go into them like this. This is an event film. Like, come on, do some research. The most shocking, I think, would be the death of Gamora, which was pretty heartbreaking in itself. I definitely teared up a little bit. I didn't cry the whole way. And that's mainly because I feel like all the people who get dusted, they're coming back for sure. Like, that's 100%. The 4 people who died beforehand have a way less chance. I don't think there's any way whatsoever we're ever seeing Loki and Heimdall back alive again unless it's in flashback form. I do think that there is a chance with Gamora and, of course, Vision, who dies right before the snap, to come back. But I would put money down that Gamora is coming back. And I will explain that right now, actually. I'll just do that. There's got to be some catch to this soul stone. The fact that you have to kill a loved one and give up part of your soul to get the soul stone in a way, I feel like sometimes with these magic things, they just have little catches here and there. Like in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, how Dumbledore had that thing where, you could look into the Mirror of Erised and see yourself getting the stone, but you'll never get it. And only the people who saw themselves and didn't want to use the stone could actually get it from that. I'm not explaining that too well, but if you're a Harry Potter fan, then you get it. So I feel like Thanos, who just killed the probably only thing he's ever loved his entire life, just created the one thing that can actually destroy him. So Gamora is already the deadliest woman in the entire universe, or the galaxy, or whatever, and I think she's gonna come back and be even more powerful and be able to actually destroy Thanos. And she's the secret weapon. Because there's something else she knows about the Infinity Gauntlet or the Infinity Stones in general, because when he does that snap towards the end, the gauntlet kind of like short circuits in a way, and you see it has to be something with Gamora, because the thing that he sees in between the snap and coming back to reality is Gamora asking if it was worth it. I also think it's just too important with the buildup with her and Star-Lord finally saying I love you, which I thought was a really great story. It really hit hard, and especially considering that Star-Lord, Peter Quill, was actually going to kill her, which I thought was a nice touch, and just having the Reality Stone really warp what happened there. I was really surprised that Peter Quill would have done that, but I was very happy with that. And it's a similar thing with Scarlet Witch and Vision, where Scarlet Witch finally decides that she needs to destroy Vision to keep the world safe, and then, of course, Thanos just reverses time and takes it, and there's just that pain of her having to go through that and then have it be nothing. And then when you see her being dusted away, she just has this look of relief on her face. And I was not really that emotionally connected to either Scarlet Witch or Vision or their relationship, but in this movie it just really worked. Even from the first moment they were on screen, I actually was pretty happy with it. And Scarlet Witch, to me, I think her and Gamora stole the movie. I was so impressed with Scarlet Witch in this movie, and she was so powerful. She destroyed Vision and an Infinity Stone, as well as holding back Thanos, who already had 5 of the Infinity Stones in his gauntlet at the same time. That's pretty legit. Okay, so let's get away from the deaths in general and just talk about some highlights of the movie, or even some lowlights. I'll tell you what, the pairings that they did in this movie are fantastic. I think it was a perfect idea to put Tony Stark and Doctor Strange together, because a lot of people compare them and they have similarities in the way that they are, but they're 2 pretty different characters, and seeing them together really brought out their differences and how they are not the same character. I think adding Spider-Man into that is fantastic, and having the cape be basically another character within that little trio was fantastic. You have the Guardians picking up Thor, and that hilarious exchange with everyone just marveling at Thor and how he's a real man and all this kind of stuff. Fantastic. Some of the funniest moments. I'll say, this movie made me love the Guardians again, because I hated Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I love Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's really spoiled it for me, I feel like. And you know what? I was so hype on them in this movie. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was actually pretty smart to put Thor with Rocket and Groot. I love that pairing. That's so good. And then also just having the 4 rest of them pair up with Tony and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man towards the end, and having that standoff, that was... Star-Lord with Tony Stark is another great pairing that you never really thought could happen. But hands down, the funniest moment of this movie is when Drax is having his spying moment, and he's claiming that he has mastered the art of becoming invisible by moving so slow that you just can't see him. And it is just so good. It is, I also like how this brought back a little bit of the harshness that Drax had in the first movie with, his family being killed by Thanos and his minions. I really like that. I would have liked to explore that a little bit more because he does kind of become this like stupid punchline a lot, which he's hilarious, but like it kind of lost a lot of his like actual greatness of a character in the second movie, and you got a little bit of it back in this one, so that really, really helped. And then just having Steve Rogers back in the picture, he didn't have a huge part in this movie, and I'm kind of okay with that because, let's be real, the next movie is going to be Tony Stark and Captain Rogers heavy in this. And I knew going into this, I was like, okay, either they're going to keep them apart or they're going to meet and reconcile, and one of them's going to die. And towards the end of the movie, I'm like, okay, so I don't think that they're going to reconcile anytime. And they're not going to kill either of those two characters off without reconciling first. Just not going to happen. And so I was like, towards the end of the movie, I'm like, okay, the only people I know who are going to survive this movie is going to be Captain America and Tony Stark, because they haven't met yet. And then when Thanos stabs Tony Stark, first of all, in the theater, there is no quieter moment than that moment, and then everybody gasping and being like, what the fuck just happened? They're not killing off Tony Stark before he has a chance to talk to Captain America. It's not happening. And so I was really shocked with that. He's probably not doing too well, but I'm sure he'll get some help there eventually. So Cap and Black Widow didn't have the biggest parts, but they had some great parts. Some of the biggest cheers in my preview night were when Captain America first showed up and caught that spear thing, and it was just like, oh yeah. And then you have Black Widow teaming up with Okoye to take out Proxima Midnight, I think is her name, played by Carrie Coon or voiced by Carrie Coon. I don't really know how much of the physical acting it is. And then joined by Scarlet Witch, which is just awesome. I actually thought the Black Order was pretty good. Ebony Maw was fantastic. I really think, I'm kind of sad that he did not get a bigger part, or that he kind of died in this movie, or we could have gotten him in another movie and have him survive and then join the Black Order in this one, because he was great. He really was. And I definitely wish we could have gotten maybe a little bit more in Wakanda, but there was a lot going on, and 2/3 of it was in space because we had those two camps that were in space, which is fine. I don't mind that whatsoever. I thought the end battle scene on Wakanda really brought out some great moments with Bucky holding Rocket, and they're both shooting, and then he's like, how much for the gun? How much for the arm? And he has this whole thing. You have Rocket giving Thor the eye that he stole in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, or Groot stole and he kept. You have Thor making his grand entrance with Stormbreaker, his new axe thing that Groot used, his arm to do. The only part that I wasn't so hype on when I originally saw that would have to be the Peter Dinklage dwarf stuff with getting a new Thanos killing weapon thing. And my main thing was it felt like it was slowing down what was happening on Titan and in Wakanda. And first time I saw it, I didn't know that all of a sudden Thor, Rocket, and Groot were going to be able to Bifrost their way down to Wakanda and help out. I thought they were going to be stuck up there and it would just kind of amount to nothing in a way. But the delivery of him being able to be shot down onto Wakanda and make his grand entrance, and all of that stuff was fantastic. I thought Bruce Banner and the Hulkbuster was great. I actually really liked the fact that he didn't turn into Hulk, because this was the first movie that we get to see Bruce Banner be a hero and choosing to be a hero. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people are bugged by Star-Lord kind of messing up the whole Thanos plan to get the gauntlet off and punching him when he learns that he killed Gamora and all that kind of stuff. I'm not particularly angered by that. I mean, let's be real. Out of the 65 billion different varietals of timelines that Doctor Strange saw in his weird vision thing, and one outcome was the one that they won in. This is the one outcome, so I'm not really worried at all. Let's be real. Avengers 4 is not going to end with all of the Avengers being dead and Thanos living. It's just not going to happen. It's not. And so it didn't really bug me. And also, even if they got the gauntlet off of Thanos just would have taken it back. Let's be real. He would have. And I'll tell you what, Thanos smiling into that, pretty happy. Pretty happy. Still don't know where this ranks. I mean, it's still one of my favorites for sure, but I gotta let it settle a little bit. Maybe Maybe I'll like it more. Maybe I'll see it again. Maybe I will like it less. Who knows? But I hope you guys liked this review, this spoiler review. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what are your favorite moments of this movie. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I make videos Monday through Friday for the most part. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.